back to another episode of Tea Time with Mr. D. I am Mr. Denniston, the broadcasting teacher here and choir director. And this is Tea Time. This is where we get to go and see some people here from Northside, hear more about them, figure out more about their lives and stuff, and just have a good time for a little bit of time. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, I have to mention that this is ran by students, our broadcasting program here. And in the booth right now, we have Sophia, who is our producer. Sophia, how's it going today?
It's going awesome.
It's
before fall break.
Oh, all right, yeah. How has your last day before fall break been going today?
It's been going really well. We watched a lot of movies. We had brownies.
When did you have brownies? Wait, hold on. You had brownies, and there were brownies in choir, and I didn't even get.
Well, they were cosmic brownies.
And I stole one from Zoe.
And nobody told me.
There were cosmic brownies, and I didn't even. This is my class, and I didn't even get a cosmic brownie.
Yeah.
This is the first time knowing about this. You know, I think last episode went really well. We had Mr. Harder in here. Did you guys in the control booth who were there like it?
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I
Yeah.
wasn't here.
Here's the thing that I was concerned about was we did this interview, and I felt good about it. And I'm thinking, yeah, he told some good stories. And if you haven't checked it out, viewers, then you definitely should on our Titan TV YouTube channel. But I was feeling good about it. And I asked Sophia right after, and she's just kind of like, yeah, it was okay. I was like, well, that's not what I was hoping for. But now, Sophia, you think it was a good one? Now that time has passed?
What did I say? It was okay. It was good.
You said, you were like, meh. We were walking back. We were just done doing the stuff upstairs with him. And you're like, meh, it was okay. Like you would not give me it was great.
It was really good.
Okay. Well, it's about 3 weeks too late on this one. But today, I think today is going to be a good show. I mean, you guys excited for who the guest is over there?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, I mean, I already know, but I'm still pretty excited.
I love the fact that I have to go and like build it up of who the guest is and all that stuff, when I know that people literally just clicked on the link and they know exactly who's.
The title.
It's Miss Carty. I don't think I need to build it up at all.
No.
And honestly, I don't really want to. The other thing, I got to say this before we get to Miss Carty is, and I'm going to get in trouble for this because I think there are three large Titan TV fans I know about. There's two of them I'm going to mention, all right? And it's going to get both of us in trouble, Sophia. And that is, anytime we post anything on the Facebooks or anything like that, yes, your mom comments and likes it immediately. She's very positive, and I love it. I love it. Now, the other super fan is my own mother as well. And here's the deal. Like, she'll comment on like some of the things on Facebook and stuff like that. But usually I'll get a text, and I'm going to get in so much trouble. And she's going to be like, well, I didn't mean it this way. But I'm going to mention it because I think it's funny, is that my mom is very, very supportive. I was very lucky to have a supportive mom growing up and everything. And she still is to this day, but she always wants me to be better. And so she always has at least just one other comment. Like it's never just like, that was a great episode and stuff like that. And she was excited about it. She's like, I'm looking forward to hearing it. And so it comes out and she's like, great episode, but, and she's like, I got one critique. It was a little long. And I was like, Mom, it's a podcast.
It was like 40 minutes.
It's a podcast.
It's an interview.
How is this a podcast?
It's a podcast. It's an interview. It's a talk show kind of thing. Like that was kind of the goal of the time there. And so, but she was looking for, I think, like a 2-minute video, and that probably would have made her happy as well. I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble for mentioning any of this. I think we need to move on to getting Miss Carty in here. Miss Carty is a 6th grade teacher here, and I'll ask her what exactly she teaches, because I'm still trying to figure out why are we showing the empty Hunter? You had one job, and that was to not show the empty chair, so we can make it look seamless.
I already did that before, though, so.
I know, like, we're going against everything that's being, Sophia, this is where you fire people. All right, here's one more, how many of you in the control booth have had Miss Carty in class?
Oh, me, definitely. Favorite.
All of us, all right, fantastic, okay, makes me feel great that
I'm
here. Favorite.
She's a great teacher.
I love you, Mr. Denniston.
Oh, thank you so much. Miss Carty, I'm good at this, all right? I'm gonna be good at introducing her. Miss Carty is an English teacher here at Northside Middle School. She's been here longer than I have, and she was one of the first people I met, and she also kind of like, did you guys know she barged her way into this thing. She was already on my list, but she barged her way into this. We posted the thing about, we didn't even post a video yet of Mr. Harder at the time. We just posted a picture, and immediately, she's first comment, she's like, I want to be on there next. So,
Surprise me.
no, it's not surprising at all. But we love her. Miss Carty is here with us today. I want to show just a couple clips of the stuff she's done here at Titan TV and how it's been some of our favorite things. And then we will have Miss Carty join us here in the studio.
Time for sports with Carty.
Titans, it's time for sports with Carty, hosted by me, your girl, Miss Carty. Sadly, last week's home track meet got canceled due to the weather, but we have more meets coming up. Let's look at those and other things happening in the sports world. But first, let me into the Carty box. Thanks.
Now, let's take it to the news studio with Miss Carty and Mrs. Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Troop, and good afternoon, Titans.
How many times should you read the directions? I say until...
I love the people that I work with and most of the students. No, I'm just kidding. I love all of my students.
This has been a production.
All right, and I'd love to welcome to the studio our guest for today, Miss Carty. Miss Carty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. Fall break's getting ready to start.
Yeah, and you're going somewhere, aren't you?
Yes, me and Mrs. Turner, we're going down to Panama City Beach in Florida.
Oh, Florida.
We're gonna hang out all week and read a bunch of books and eat a bunch of snacks and just have some best friend time.
That sounds amazing. How do you get to be on this little Florida trip thing? I don't remember seeing like a little Google form go out or anything like this.
Nope,
so.
no Google Forms were
none of
released.
that?
It was just a private arrangement between Tiffany and I. Yes.
Interesting. I think for the future Mr. D, Tea Time with Mr. D's, I think a Florida trip has to be in order for that. But Miss Carty,
I don't even think you'd want to hang out with me for a whole week in Florida.
It would be great. You and Turner, it would be a fun time.
You, Turner, or me, Turner, you and your wife. That would actually
be a fun time. Except I would get ganged up on.
It would just be
so
like
bad.
it would be like basic white girl central.
It would be
Plus,
yes.
yeah.
I fit in.
Yep,
I fit
you
right
fit
in.
right in.
I love it. I love it. All right, Miss Carty. So I attempted to in our intro. Say what you teach here, and I'm pretty sure I got it wrong, but you teach 6th grade, right? And you teach
Yes.
ELA and
Social studies now.
Oh, social studies. See, I did get
Yes.
it wrong. So this is how many years here at Northside?
So this is my 7th year here at Northside.
7 years, all right.
Yep.
And so I love to start out every interview with this question of, and people usually hate it, but what was middle school like for you, and what were you like during middle school?
Middle school for me was pretty interesting. I actually was an athlete. I played soccer, and I had like a bunch of friends that we all played soccer together. And a couple of my friends and I were like Team Adidas. Like we were just really like Team Adidas. And then there was another group of boys that they all liked Nike. So we would talk smack to each other over Adidas and Nike. Like this was what we did. Yeah,
that was the cool thing to.
That was the cool thing to do.
Now, what would your teachers, now that you teach middle school, what would your teachers say that you were like during middle school? Like, what were maybe some comments that went home or anything like that?
So honestly, I never really got in trouble in school. I always did what I was supposed to do, and I loved to learn then, and I still love to learn now. My home life wasn't always the greatest, so school was kind of my place where I could really shine and be who I was, and I just got along with people, and I didn't really have a lot of conflict. I think I got in trouble when I was in 9th grade for talking.
That's
big surprise.
That's
but my teacher was standing right next to me, so as a 9th grader, I was like, well, everyone else was talking, and she was just standing next to me, so I got detention one time as a high schooler. And I got lunch detention one other time. I can't remember what it was for. So
for talking.
Whole rebel behavior.
No fights or anything like that?
No, I've never been in a physical altercation.
Man.
Not at school. Actually, not at all.
I
Minus like play fighting.
Yeah,
but,
minus all the times you've hit me. So
minus all
great.
the times I locker check you. We should get some film of that too.
No, there's no film of that.
I have a younger brother, and for some reason he was like very popular, and I was just like not very popular in high school. But I wasn't not popular, if you know what I mean. Like I just kind of got along with everybody. But I was 2 years ahead of him in school, and I would run into students, like other kids at school, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're so-and-so's sister," and it's like, what? What do you mean? Like, I was here first. So that was always fun. I always think it's fun when you go to the same school and you have siblings because inevitably I was very different from my siblings at school.
Were you?
They were the ones that were getting in trouble and getting the phone calls home. So
Now, I know this because we're Goodreads friends.
we are Goodreads friends,
You're
yes.
huge into reading.
I am.
Did that start in middle school, or when did that all start?
Honestly, I don't know when it started. I think that I have gone, like, I've always loved to read, but it's always been difficult for me to make the time to do it, and difficult for me to sit down and focus on doing it. Well, come to find out, I got diagnosed with ADHD last year, so that explains that. But I remember that the first series that really got me into reading was Harry Potter, and that's why I really love Harry Potter to this day. And I remember like going to a library program that my grandmother worked at a library in a town nearby, and they had like a library program where you could go in and watch the movies, and they got us like really excited about reading it. So that was like the first series that I really got into. And then when the last book came out, The Deathly Hallows, I think I was in 10th or 11th grade, and I remember this distinctly. I took the book to school. That was not a good idea.
Oh.
Because that's the day I got talked to multiple times.
Oh,
Put your book
okay.
away, Allison. Put your book away, Allison. Put your book away. And so I finally got home, and I literally remember sitting on my bedroom floor, which was not much bigger than this table. There's just not a big space.
This is actually a desk. This is
Oh,
my
a desk
This
table, a
is the
table
official
desk.
But yeah.
The official news desk. My apologies. Please forgive me, all of Titan TV land. And I sat on my floor, like in the crisscross applesauce position, just like reading this book for hours and hours on end. And I read the entire thing in one sitting. And if anyone knows how big that book is, it's pretty big. So, yeah, and then I think like college was really difficult, just academically there was a lot. It was overwhelming, so I didn't read as much. I really delved back into reading as a hobby last year.
Okay.
So last year in 2022, I finished 67 books.
Wow.
And this year I am currently reading books number 71 and 72.
Now, big question of, do you like Kindle better? Do you like the physical book better? Or do you read faster on either one?
So I actually I use all three formats. So I use Kindle, which is digital. I read paper books, and I am a big audiobook listener. So honestly, I like all of them.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me. The thing with the Kindle is it's just so convenient because you can borrow books from the library and download them on your Kindle, and then you have like hundreds of books that you can access at any time, and you can access them on your phone. So like I'm never caught without a book.
Yeah.
My audiobooks, I usually like to listen to like more nonfiction or memoirs because it's just easier to listen to.
Especially if it's their voice.
Yes,
It's
I really love
nice.
that. I now, since I moved like up in the country, I live like 35 minutes away now. So usually when I drive to and from work, I listen to audiobooks, or I do it while I'm cleaning my house or things like that. That's really changed the reading game for me. And then certain books you can't get, or they're hard to get at the library, like the physical copy. And so then I'll just borrow it on the Kindle or through Kindle Unlimited. I do not really buy books. That is something that is different than other readers. A lot of readers buy books that they want to read, and I'll buy them like if they're cheap or like at the Goodwill or something, but I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on books.
Yeah, I'm very much aware of the book buying stuff and how there are readers, and readers also can be collectors, as I've been told by my wife. Now, I do have two questions that comes directly from my wife when I told her that I was interviewing you, and they're book related. So big book questions here. Number one, paperback or hardback?
Okay, so if I'm going to both, depending on the situation. So if it's a book that I'm borrowing or that I'm reading and I'm going to send back to like the library, I prefer paperback actually because it's easier to hold. But I did get this special like pillow that holds books, and it has like this little thing that makes it hold it on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous, like honestly ridiculous. I probably should never have bought it, but I do use it. But if I want to own the book, so I do buy certain books or ask for them for Christmas or my birthday that are like my favorites that like really resonated with me, that I want to keep, then I ask for those in hardback.
Okay.
So like if I'm keeping the book, I prefer it to be a hardback cover, but if I just am reading it and passing it along, it's actually easier for a paperback.
So even hardback for fiction books? I know that's a hot take because a lot of people like the paperback for fiction books. Now, if it is paperback, do you like floppy spine or non-floppy spine or whatever else that word might be?
You mean like just, I mean,
I'm told that there is a different sensation that happens
There
with
is.
the spine, and it affects the book, apparently, if the spine is floppy or not floppy.
I think I prefer it to be floppy because I am very rarely doing one thing at a time, which is very annoying and exhausting. But a lot of times if I'm reading, then I also have like maybe some nice music on my phone, or I have a drink, or I'm eating a snack, or I'm outside. And so like the floppier, it just seems like it can just chill easier and I don't have to like hold it. I don't know. You know what's difficult as a reader?
What's difficult?
Finding the best position to read in.
Yes.
It's so hard.
Well, when you said the thing about Harry Potter that you were sitting
32-year-old me
applesauce,
could never.
I never could do
I could
crisscross
never.
applesauce. That was the worst during like a convocation. They'd cram everybody, and we do it now. But I mean, they cram everybody. For me, it was in the gym, and we'd have to sit crisscross applesauce. Well, I've always been a large fellow, and my legs go asleep.
portly.
So yeah, a little portly the whole life. But then yes, when I'm reading, it is ridiculous. There's not a.
I
there's
know.
not, am I going to lay on my back? Well, now my arms are tired. You know,
Right.
So there's a whole thing.
So I did put a hammock up this past summer. That was beautiful for reading in the hammock.
Did that go well?
Oh, it was great.
I hammocked for the first time this summer. Looked awful in the hammock.
Well, it's at my house and no one can see me, so I really care.
Well, it was we were camping, so I wasn't
Yeah.
worried about people, but like I just don't look happy. And in the hammock, I feel cocooned, and so my arms were like this reading, so I don't know
Yeah.
how to read in a hammock.
So one time, I I do a lot of weird things. If you haven't noticed,
nobody's
I'm a very
questioned
weird
that.
thing, weird person in general. I actually sometimes lay on my stomach and then just like have the book on the ground, and then I
Yeah.
just like kind of like hold it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my preferred reading position.
Yeah,
So.
the Kindle that it's easier to read with the Kindle because the case that I have has like this like elastic band that you can slide your hand in, and it also has like a kickstand that can hold it up, and so those help. But yeah, just honestly, why is it so difficult to get comfortable? Like I'm just trying to read this book. Like what the heck?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a book thing. It's a book thing, and it matters.
It's a book person thing.
Book person thing. I want to talk more about you getting into education and stuff, and not just about books. But before that, we've got some questions from people in the control booth. First off, Sophia, I don't think we've said who all is in there with you. Obviously, you're producing, but who else is in there with you, Sophia?
Okay, so we got Hallie over here, and Jaden, and Hunter, and me.
All right, great. So we've got kind of a new crew, except for you and Hunter are the two repeaters from last time, so that's great. Do you guys have some questions for Miss Carty in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you, I know the answer to this question, but
Then
why are you asking it?
Hallie, this is already a great question of, well, did you, I already know it, but that's fine.
have you went to Fight Club with any of your students?
Yes, I have. So so since we're getting into education later, I
Yeah.
think that I am just an overgrown middle schooler sometimes. So especially with boy students who, let's all be honest, middle school boys they're a lot. Sorry guys, it's true though, and you know it. Especially the two of you. No. But I will often joke around with kids and say like, "Oh, you want to fight me? Like, let's go." And I also push Mr. Denniston into lockers, so there's that too.
Yep.
But I'm just your friendly neighborhood not bully. It was just all in good fun. But seriously, no. So last year, I know what you're referring to. Yeah, students ask me to fight, or I ask them if they want to fight, and then when they say yes, I like play fight with them. Basically, it's really not a good example, but it's controlled. So yes, I have play fought. I teach English with some students, yes.
I love how much you're struggling with saying
Yeah,
that
sometimes words
you
are
play.
hard, guys. Sometimes words are hard. So yeah, it's just fun. And I think it gets kids to kind of relate to me a little bit better and realize that, like, just because I'm a grown up doesn't mean I can't have fun sometimes and joke around. Like, I tell my kids all the time, I say my kids, my students, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. Obviously, I don't play fight with my students in the middle of a lesson, but like at the end, or if they're just getting on my nerves, I might just be like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
You're building relationships. That's what you're doing. Yeah.
I
And
am.
character. It's building character.
Weird teachers build character.
I
Write
love
that down.
that. Oh my goodness.
I need a shirt.
Yes, absolutely. Do we have another question for Ms. Carty in there?
I do. I have multiple.
All right, great. Pick
Answer
one.
Multiple. So first, do you have a favorite author?
Okay,
Reading
so
the
here we
book.
go.
Yeah.
So one of the authors I really do enjoy, and I have not read any of his stuff in a long time, is John Green, which is pretty cool because he's from Indiana. And he talks out a lot about the importance of reading and things like that. But one of his books is actually also one of my favorite movies, which is The Fault in Our Stars.
Did you like the movie and the book? Or?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I thought the movie was really well done, and I liked the actors in it, and I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
Now that one, I actually saw the movie before I read the book, which is rare, but that was one of those situations. But most of his books that I've read, I've really enjoyed. There's another author, her name is Jeanette Walls. She wrote a memoir titled The Glass Castle, which is one of my favorite books as well. There is a movie of it as well. It's a difficult book to read. It's actually on the banned books list. So it's about a girl raised by an alcoholic father and coming to terms with that as an adult. And it's a good read. It's a emotional read, but it's a good read.
Let's go with one more there with Jaden in there.
I want to know what your favorite food is.
Love how you shouted it too.
Honestly, that's a really hard question. I can't give like a good answer. I will say, I am always down for a good chicken sandwich.
Like from specific places or just in general?
Some places have better ones than others.
What's some of your favorite?
Well,
This is gonna.
Chick-fil-A, obviously.
Okay.
Regardless of your feelings about the company, I very much enjoy their chicken. It is God's chicken.
It's holy chicken.
Anyway, holy chicken. And KFC has a decent one.
Yeah.
And Burger King used to,
Yes.
the King, but they got rid of it.
And it changed.
Well, McDonald's chicken sandwiches are trash. Wendy's, the Asiago Ranch Club is very good. Chicken sandwich.
I don't think that goes in the list of chicken sandwiches, but
What do you mean?
I don't think it does. I think
Why?
I just don't think the official chicken sandwich list has anything that says Asiago.
It's a
anything
chicken
like that.
club sandwich, you psycho.
It's all right. You
What
go
do you,
ahead.
it's literally made of chicken. Back me up.
No. If you're going to have a list of chicken sandwiches, everybody knows that it's going to have the spicy option on there.
No spicy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm the same way too, but I'm just saying that's the only way the list happens.
Okay, well, my apologies. I will
stick
make an
with-
asterisk next to the Asiago Chicken Ranch Club that from Wendy's is
Can
very
you
good.
pick a wider sandwich to get than the Asiago? I'm sorry. It's just
I mean, I probably could. Yeah, the McChicken. There's a whiter chicken sandwich for you. The McChicken. You know what? You know what also? I just have to make a comment.
Yeah.
What is with this economy? That used to be $1.
Yes. Yeah.
Now
no,
it's
I
on the
agree.
value menu.
Yeah. There's
I
nothing
think it's up
value
to
about
$2, and it's still trash. I mean, there's still little gristlies in there, and there's like the pepper. What's with the pepper on a McChicken? What's with the pepper?
I think the favorite thing I have about you, Ms. Carty, is the fact that you have strong opinions about things that I wouldn't expect people to have strong opinions about.
What's with the economy these days?
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
$2.
I just, food is very important to me. That's why
okay.
I'm also portly. Okay,
Is that
so
the word for today, portly?
yeah, it's my vocab word for the day. I just made that up. It wasn't, but it is now. But like, if I'm gonna spend money on a chicken sandwich, like, get that gristle out of here. I'm sorry, like, I just live my life to the fullest every day. You can put that on a T-shirt.
Everything you say. Put it on a T-shirt.
Inspirational
I said
quotes.
something great. Put it on a T-shirt. So, I will say that is a perk of being a choir teacher, is that you have things that stick, and then next thing you know, you see them on T-shirts. So, so we have engaged.
You do have very cool T-shirts.
Oh, that means a lot.
You really
That means
do.
Okay, all right. This is.
I love
fine.
T-shirts. That's all my whole vibe.
My fall break is made. All right. I thank you guys so much for your questions in there in the studio. We'll come back to you in a little bit when we end this thing. But
Maybe.
Want to go back to before Hunter tells another story. Want to now go to the fact that you've been at Northside. You said for 7 years. This is your 7th year.
Yes.
Here? And then, but you were also in other schools before this too. How's that all worked out?
Okay, so I was briefly in other schools. So the year that I got hired on, so most of you probably know, I originally am from New Jersey. So I went to college and graduated college and was certified as a teacher there. And then when I moved to Indiana, which was about a year and a half after I graduated college, I decided I didn't want to teach. I was too scared, honestly. I was like, I just can't do it. It's too much. And so I went to work at Walmart, and I was like, I ended up like getting some hourly management positions there and was doing that for a while. And then I interviewed for a position at Grissom Elementary School, and that was in 2016. Dr. Bell, Dr. Dia Bell,
Yep.
she was the principal at the time.
Oh, okay.
And she hired me. And so I remember making a phone call on a Wednesday when I interviewed with her to my boss at Walmart, and over the phone we did our exit interview. And Friday, I was alone with the kids.
Wow. Oh, so this is during the school year.
Yeah. School had already started. They had already had a teacher quit or a sub or something. So I did that for 8 weeks. I would have done it for longer, but it was a very, very rough class. And so I was just not really doing well mentally, being thrown in there, and it was really a lot.
Especially after you had said that you didn't feel ready before, and then that's your first experience.
And then I told them that I wanted to like not finish the year. And then I jumped the gun. It was a little early because then I kind of found my groove, and then I kind of regretted it. But anyway, then they got someone to cover my spot there, and I was hired at East Washington Academy for a 2-3 split class for the remainder of the year, which started, I believe, right after fall break in 2016. And that was a 2nd and 3rd grade split class. And I finished out the year there. And then that summer, I taught summer school because I was a sub, so I needed the money.
Yeah.
And I interviewed with Mr. Eric Grimm, and he called me while I was at summer school at Longfellow and said, "You got the job," and
All right.
it's history. So I got hired in and started teaching all of 7th grade English and 1 8th grade class. And then the year after that, I taught 7th and 8th again. And then the year after that, I was moved down to 6th, where I've been. So this is my 5th year in 6th grade.
Wow. Yeah. Now, what got you into thinking teaching was the thing for you?
I honestly always thought that I wanted to be a teacher. I think like I mentioned earlier, school was kind of my place where I felt safe. And when things weren't going well at home, I knew that there were people at school that I could talk to and help me through things and like provide me support that I wasn't getting for whatever reason. And so I wanted to be a person that could be there for kids that also deal with tough situations and be a constant person for them to show them that, there's a way out of your situations and, giving them positive feedback and encouragement. I mean, that's really my favorite part of the job is working with kids.
Yeah.
If I could just hang out with the kids all day and talk to them and get paid, I would.
And create that space for them.
But so I just wanted to be a person that could help kids, really. I've just always loved working with kids, and so I just kind of always knew I'd be doing something with them in the teaching realm.
Yeah, that's great. Now, obviously, middle school is stuck. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still here as far as I know. So,
As far as I know, too.
But do you find that this is the age group that works well with you?
Yeah, it does. I think that in that in-between stage, and I actually really enjoy how weird and awkward they are, and I think it's fun, and I think that they're more open to hearing ideas and trying new things. Not all of them, but a lot of them. It's different every day. You just never know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I like that. I thought like being a younger teacher, so I started here when I was 25. Like I wouldn't want to do high school at this age.
Now, how do you, because you've already said middle school is an awkward place sometimes. They're in an awkward time of their lives.
Yes.
And they're just awkward people. You gotta love them.
Some of us never grow out of it.
Yeah.
And they're still awkward people.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. That's all it is. I love the fact that you said you're just a grown-up middle schooler, because I definitely feel in the same realm as that too. But what are some things that you do? Because I get the sense from all of your stories and everything that you really are big about trying to keep a place where people feel safe and as they're learning and stuff. I mean, what are your ways of doing that? I think you've mentioned it a little bit, of building relationships with kids.
Yeah, so that's the most important part. And like, I used to not be so great at it. So something that I've come to realize is that becoming the teacher that I want to be has taken time. And there's still things about who I am as a teacher that I would like to improve. Like I'm always growing. So that's something that's big with me, is I'm really big on like examining myself and who I am and trying to improve, because I don't ever want to make anyone feel bad for who they are or things that they say. So when I first started, I used to be more of like a yeller, and I'm still very loud, but I don't yell. I'm very careful. I don't yell a lot. Sometimes I yell. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
But I really try to, rather than framing instructions as like, don't do this, I try to say like, hey, let's do this, and like name what they're supposed to do versus what they're doing that's wrong. So just like that language shift. I do a lot of things in my class that the kids get engaged with because they have so many choices. So that's been really interesting and fun. I really just spend time with getting to know who they are, and just accepting them for who they are. And I spend a lot of time giving them real feedback. So I try not to be like demeaning when I'm talking to them about like areas of concern and areas that need improvement. I'm just like, hey, what's going on here? I have a lot of talks. I talk a lot. And sometimes I go home and I don't want to talk to anyone because I spent my entire day talking to kids and walking them through problems.
Absolutely.
But I think I am very understanding, because I can remember how cringy I was in the middle school level and what mattered to me. And I just try to remember the fact that these are kids. And I try to keep that in the forefront of my mind. You know, sometimes we have big reactions. I mean, everyone does. And just trying to talk to kids through their issues. Like, hey, like, how are you feeling? Like, why are you reacting this way? What can I do to help? Okay, do you need space? Do you need to just be left alone? Like, I'm not perfect at it. There are some kids that really irritate me.
Really know how to push your buttons.
Really know how to push the buttons, and I think make it a point to do so. But I try to be very fair, and I just try to let the kids be who they are. I talk a lot about being respectful to people, even if you don't like them, and managing your reactions, because you can get your point across so much better if you come at it from a bit different way versus the yelling, the profanities, the disrespectful comments towards adults and things like that. So I'm just constantly like, hey, what can we do different next time? Hey, let's do this, or let's think about this. I talk a lot about like perspective, which is actually an English skill. So I think I have the benefit of teaching English, because when we talk about character traits and you talk about point of view, you can really tie in real life to that and say like, okay, so let's talk about point of view in this situation. And then we're able to talk about real life situations that they deal with. Well, you know, I always tell this story, and I pick on kids in my class, and I'm like, okay, so you are gonna get in a fight with this person in the hallway. And then like, we need you to report on it. Well, your best friend's gonna give one of the reports, and your best friend's gonna give one of the reports, and then someone who's neutral is gonna give a report. And we talk about how like, there's 3 sides to every story. There's your perspective, the other person's perspective, and then in the middle somewhere is the truth. And so I'm able to tie in my English stuff to like real life and make it really relevant for them. And I think that helps because that helps them be seen.
Well, that's awesome too, because not only are you teaching them English, obviously, and the subject at hand, but I think we all can agree, like one of our goals as teachers is to make sure that they leave this place on the path of becoming great citizens and members of society too.
I say that all the time. I tell the kids, I'm like, look, I understand that you don't want to do this right now. Trust me. Sometimes I don't want to do it either. I said, but teaching them that life is going to be difficult and that now's the time to make mistakes and get help and become the person, start setting yourself up to be the person that you want to be. I think that that's something that middle schoolers don't realize a lot of times, is that what they do right now, and it's hard because they're just in their own little worlds and that's how their brains are literally wired, but they don't see how what they're doing or what they're not doing is going to affect them in the long run. And I guess that that's something that's really important to me to try to get through to them. To just say like, learn how to get along with people and be respectful, even if you don't agree. That is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to lead you to success in life.
And I think it's hard too for middle school brain to see the big picture of things.
Yes.
And so
of course.
It's always the things I'm feeling in that moment and how my brain's reacting to it then. And
I mean, it's hard for everybody.
Oh yeah.
I look back at things that I was dealing with a couple of years ago and I'm like, what on earth were you doing, girl? What were you thinking? But it's not clear until you're out of it.
Right.
And so I guess like I would like to see more students understand that we're on their team and that we do what's best for them. And if they just put the work in and ask us for the help and are like partnering with us instead of fighting against us. But I do think, not to brag on myself, I think I do a pretty good job of that with kids. I think most kids that I have had as students understand who I am and know that I've got their back, but I'm also going to hold them accountable if they act up.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
All right, so I reached out to Miss Turner because you guys are your rooms are side by side or
they
very
are
close?
side by side, but we have lockers in between them this year.
I have to mention this. I still think of this when we have the opening meeting of the year and they give us like our schedule and all that stuff. And it said when we had lunch and all that stuff, and yours.
Oh my goodness. We did not have the same lunch. That was horrible.
And I remember that.
I was so angry.
That was the first thing I saw on that thing, and I was like, they're not going to be happy about that. And then sure enough, in that meeting, you're like, I believe she has this lunch. You're like, no, she doesn't.
Because she had that 7th or 8th grade math enrichment or something, or math whatever, and I was very upset. I told Eric Grimm how I felt. I sure did.
I think you told everybody how you felt.
I was like, dude, that's my best friend. Like, I need her at lunchtime. But honestly, it's horrible. Not horrible. It's horrible. We all have the same lunch, and we all eat in our rooms this year because we're so busy.
Yeah. Now, okay, so this is where I get to make it uncomfortable. Is that I asked her, what are some why is it great to work with Allison Carty? And these are the answers she gave me. All right.
She's the only one that did this?
Yes.
Okay.
She wasn't the only one I asked, but she's the only one that did this. So, in her defense, I asked her at like 11 last night. So, she said it's great to work with her because this is a long list here. She literally cannot sneak up on you. You hear her before seeing her. It's very, very much true.
So true.
She speaks tween, knows all the cool sayings and lingo.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm out of date, and then I get made, like, the kids are like, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to know what that's about. She loves reading as much as I do, which you said this trip is like a reading trip, so that's great.
So I know it's hard to believe, but I'm actually an introvert. I'm an ambivert. But when I'm at work,
It's too big of a word.
it just means that you're partially both
Oh, okay.
an
Okay,
extrovert
great.
and an introvert. So when I'm at work, I'm very extroverted, but actually when I'm home, like I'm very introverted.
Okay.
And so when we go on vacation, like we'll talk, but there will be hours that neither of us say a word to each other because we're just reading our books.
That-
And it's awesome. We do it every year. We go to, well, we started it last summer. We went to, in the summertime, we go up to Lake Michigan because it's just an easier drive, and
Amazing,
I always
beautiful
love
in
it.
the summer, and
Yes.
great temperatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then she gets serious. We gotta get serious for a minute. I know.
It's gonna make me cry.
Yep. She says she has a serious passion for middle grades, loves kids, and wants to help them become the best version of themselves. She's unpredictable and thinks outside the box, makes me to push myself to look at things differently. She's always working to understand the experiences our students have had in their lives and wants to provide a safe space, which we talked about, where they're accepted and valued and understood. She never stops researching and learning about trauma and how current actions are shaped by past experiences, and how we as educators can help our students learn to navigate those hard experiences and rise above them. And then she goes on to a little list of, she's really smart, she's funny, my best friend, she really loves our students, and she could go on and on. And I think the most important thing of all, she says, you also leave pictures like this on her phone.
Yes, so I went into her classroom the other day. I just always go in her room if I need something and just get in her stuff. And the kids were like, what are you doing on her phone? And so I took that picture. And it's funny because I was going to set it as her background and I just ran out of time. Well, I also had to mess with her phone because she had like 1,000 apps open. So, you know, we can be embarrassing on my end, but she also had like 30 apps open that I had to close for her, and also had like hundreds of email notifications. So, but
Is that not a normal thing?
she told me to shut up in there, and it was really funny because the kids were like, that's not nice. And I was like, we're literally best friends. Like, it's fine. And then she texted me that she had made that her background. So, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, but I think you said you didn't want to brag on yourself, but I think between that, I think also the fact that these students are in there, when I said, like, yeah, Miss Carty's going to be next, they went insane about it. And I know students will go insane about it. We've got to wrap this up already, and we've only scratched, like, the surface of things, so you definitely need to come back. Will
Oh,
you
I'll come back.
at some point?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
great. Because there's so much more
I love
want
to
to talk
talk.
to you about. But before we wrap it up, I asked Mr. Harder this, and I always want to ask our guests this. Do you have any advice that you have for middle school students as you get yourself ready to look right into the barrel of the camera there? So-
Let me get my professional
oh,
look
this
on.
is you stepping up your teacher game.
I think I already mentioned it, but the biggest advice that I would have for middle schoolers is I will echo Mr. Harder a bit and say, be true to yourself, but also don't be afraid to admit when you're wrong. Don't be afraid to apologize. I think that is one of the things that causes a lot of conflict between students and adults, and just adults in general. A lot of people listen to respond versus listening to understand. And so I guess my challenge is to listen to what people say and try to understand where they're coming from, especially in a conflict with you. So think about how what you do affects the people around you, and it doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone that's around you, probably more than you realize. So just strive to be the best version of yourself every day, and don't be afraid to say, oh, I messed up. What can I do to fix it? Don't be afraid to apologize. You know, no one's perfect. I'm pretty close, but not there either. So, yeah, just don't be afraid, and always learn. I think I love learning, and I'm easily excited whenever I go places. I just love to learn. Just like get excited about learning, get curious, read books, look at pictures, learn stuff. You know, you guys don't have it all figured out. No one does. So don't be afraid to learn more. I'm always looking to learn. I went to the planetarium yesterday with my class, and it was like super cool. Like I learned a bunch of stuff too.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Well,
lifelong learner.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, Ms. Carty, you were teacher number 4 that I met here. I know the order of teachers and
Wow,
who I
that's
met.
kinda
It
wild.
was Ms. Gudger. Well, it was Mrs. Mizell, Ms. Gudger, and she said just from my handshake that I needed to get thicker skin. And then I met you and Miss Nevada at a training, and I remember one of the first things you said to me was, or not to me, but to the group in general, you're just like, yeah, I just work hard to just, I try to teach, I try to give my all each day, and I try to care about these students and give them all this information. I just hope sometimes it sticks with them, and I've always appreciated that. So thank you for all of your help. I know you hate this. I know you hate it when I say that you're one of my mentors because you've been here longer than me. But
I'll accept it.
All right, finally accept it. And you promised that you're going to come back on here because we have so much more to talk about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But thank you so much for being here. I have to do the official
Let's do
handshake.
an awkward handshake.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I hate this so much. Hate it. And thank you guys so much for being here for Tea Time with Mr. D. We have Miss Carty here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sophia, show that crew one more time. Thank you guys so much for your work in there too. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And Miss Carty, this is the awkward thing that I do at the end. I've ended all of my videos since like elementary school this way. All right. You ready for it, Sophia? We ready for this? All right. And as I always say, the future is very bright. We'll see you guys next time.